Maybe some of these guests indulged a little too much in the pre-show tipple. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 awkward interviews on the Graham Norton Show.
I much prefer cats. They're unpredictable and cussed, like women. You know?
Oh, we don't want to do that.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're focusing on those interviews that had us watching the show through our fingers and wishing we had a lever to flip the guests off the sofa. Number 10, Johnny Depp. In the midst of a new wave of abuse allegations against Hollywood figures, some viewers were unimpressed to learn that Johnny Depp would appear on the show.
Please welcome Johnny Depp! He's here!
In 2016, his ex-wife, Amber Heard, had accused Depp of verbal and physical abuse. Unhappy Norton fans took to Twitter to voice their displeasure, and pointing out the irony of making jokes about the sexual assault allegations against Kevin Spacey only moments before introducing Depp.
Journalists are struggling to come up with enough words to describe all this inappropriate behaviour. You know, touchy-feely, handsy, sleazy, spacey.
Things continued to go downhill when audiences at home started questioning his sobriety, and no amount of anecdotes could win them back.
Where are you going? What's happening?
The definition of puddly is...
This is one sinking ship that not even Captain Jack could save.
And I went, "Oi!" I don't know, what are you looking at? And then, nothing.
Number 9, Richard Gere and Taylor Swift. So, the most awkward part of this interaction happened off screen, but watching Taylor Swift relive her past humiliation is still bound to make your toes curl. When Graham brings up the fact that Taylor and Richard Gere met at the Golden Globes, Gere reveals that Taylor didn't know who he was and asks him what he was doing at the award show.
We did. We actually sat next to each other.
Oh, how nice.
It was very nice.
Yeah.
She said, "Why are you here?"
She is clearly still mortified, but adds to the story, telling Norton how she put her other foot in her mouth when she met Gere's now ex-wife, Carrie Lowell, that same evening.
And I said, "It's so good to see you again." And she's like, in her head, I know she's going, "Never met this girl before."
Number 8, Cara Delevingne. Graham wanted to draw a rather saucy anecdote out of the model, but the long and winding road to get there made for uncomfortable viewing.
Having sex on a plane.
As you have, clearly.
When he brings up her sex life, she immediately tenses up, which is a clear sign that she does not want to discuss it. If viewers weren't already hoping Graham would take a hint and move on, they certainly were when she announced that her dad was in the audience.
But Cara, you were doing it, and then a man was
My
watching
father
you.
is here, by the way. Sorry, Dad.
It's painful to watch Graham force the subject, and had us wishing he would just drop it and talk about anything else.
Yeah, it was... I don't even know how to start the story.
Number 7, Alan Sugar and Pamela Stephenson. Lord Sugar isn't one for mincing words, so when he appeared on the show beside Australian psychologist Pamela Stephenson, it didn't take long for him to share his thoughts on psychology.
Psychiatrist and medical degree.
Okay, and the psychologist is that you just go and buy one in Sears?
Pamela took a moment to collect herself before firing back, and then it was up to Graham and Lee Mack to diffuse the tension.
I like this atmosphere, it's really kicking off.
Where's that nice James Blunt?
Things took a turn for the weird when the Strictly finalists decided to teach Graham a move she called the Nunu, though judging by the look on Graham's face, it looked more like he was screaming "no, no," at least on the inside.
I'm going to put my nunu...
Number 6, Whoopi Goldberg. What makes this interview so awkward is less the subject matter and more the general discomfort of the guests.
And guys, you know, all the stuff that happens to y'all.
Sure, talking about one's balding pubic region or the balding pudenda isn't necessarily your average chat show topic of choice, but it's the clunkiness of the conversation that makes it painful to watch.
The balding pudenda.
Pudenda?
Yes.
Agenda.
Yeah, got you.
What is that?
Well, in one's youth.
Oh, wait, do I want to know what this is?
I don't know.
Whoopi paints quite the image for the audience, while Keanu Reeves and Jamie Dornan seem on edge, probably wondering how this came up and how they should respond.
There was once a time where...
Should they nod, laugh, talk about their own pubic hair? It's a moment tailor-made for nervous laughter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Number 5, Mickey Rourke. There was nothing that we didn't find uncomfortable about this one, whether it was Rourke's bizarre entrance or his suggestive language to both Graham and other guest Jessica Biel.
Let's say hello on the couch. Come up here.
Oh, bless you. Oh, you sit yourself down there?
In fact, watching him around here makes our skin crawl, and it's clear that she's uncomfortable too.
Wait, you got a gift?
I-
I'm about to look really bad because I don't have a gift.
Oh, no, I got a gift for you, too.
Oh.
This is one guest who wasn't going to get an invite back anytime soon. His entire manner was inappropriate, and even Graham seemed concerned when he turned his back for a second, only for Rourke to get uncomfortably close to his other guest.
Just monitoring the situation. Help is on its way!
Number 4, Noel Gallagher. This time it's Graham who puts his foot in it, as he accidentally mistakes Noel Gallagher for his brother Liam. Graham seems to believe that Noel and Jack Black have worked together in the past, but is corrected swiftly by Black, who seems all too aware of the Gallagher feud.
Wasn't there something about working together?
No.
No.
That is it. Now it's embarrassing. It was his brother, Liam. That was the thing.
Luckily, Noel is a good sport about the blunder, but uses the opportunity to throw jibes at his brother.
So if he was on here, did you watch him on here?
No.
Oh, so but he watches you.
Oh, he's obsessed.
The audience's nervous laughter can be heard in the background, but fortunately, Noel sets everyone back at ease by having the last laugh.
There you
Hi,
go.
Liam.
Number 3, Sinead O'Connor. It would be fair to say that O'Connor has built quite the reputation, and after years of making headlines, not always for her music. It's understandable that she'd be nervous about coming onto a chat show, but this still wasn't what audiences were expecting.
Anyway, so I'm a bit of a nervous wreck about interviews at all, to be honest, because on one hand I got record company quite rightly and everyone going, don't say anything, and the other hand I'm like...
As far as first impressions go, nothing compares to her introductory line to Daniel Radcliffe, even if she did have an innocent reason to be giving him imaginary baths.
It's a great pleasure to meet you, Daniel, because believe it or not, one of my children had many imaginary baths with you.
It only got more uncomfortable from there, thanks to the reveal that Graham didn't actually have the album she was promoting, and her rambling response when Graham asked her how she was.
We live in a world where crazy is a term of abuse, you know, which I frankly think should be outlawed.
Number 2, Miriam Margolyes. She might be the celebrity equivalent of Marmite, but hey, when she's on the sofa, at least the show is never dull.
And I said, would you like to follow me to my college and I'll suck you off?
Miriam's awkward moments on the Graham Norton Show are many, as never knowing what she might say or whether it's going to make you chuckle or cringe.
I'm just fascinated by you. No, because unfortunately I don't know many black people.
It certainly makes for good television. She's blunt, honest, and doesn't much care for what anyone else thinks.
Did you see Mamma Mia? He was very good in Mamma Mia. Did you see that?
That was a dreadful film.
But there are some things you just can't unhear. Case in point is story about meeting Laurence Olivier, which was a little too much information.
And I remember so distinctly that I started to cream in my knickers. I could feel it.
Number 1, Mark Wahlberg. Like many of Graham's guests, it seems that Mark Wahlberg enjoyed the free booze backstage, but perhaps went a tad overboard.
I want to challenge you.
Oh, shit.
I want to challenge you to a big dick contest.
In this infamous interview, he's like an attention-seeking child constantly interrupting the other guests and stealing focus. Sarah Silverman deserves an award just for putting up with him, as he barely lets her get through her stories. At one point, he even climbs into the bewildered host's lap.
And this is what, can you imagine?
You sit there. Listen to the nice lady.
Wahlberg has since said that it was all a pre-planned bit with Silverman, but we're just gonna let you be the judge.
So a couple of months ago, I was at the gym, full face of makeup on, ready to do
Why
my
would you wear
weights.
makeup to the gym?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo UK and subscribe for more great content.